Successful Minds with Patricia Barnowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Barnowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Barnowski-Schneider.
Hello, welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baranowski-Schneider. Today I'm joined by America's Next Top Model, Giselle Samson, now the founder of exciting Kiss the World jewelry company to create unity with symbol of love. So welcome, Giselle. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you so much, Patricia, for having me on. I'm just a girl in the world trying to make it happen. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from California. I'm bi-coastal between LA and New York. I had a long career in dance, which then catapulted me into modeling. And I was on the hit TV show, America's Next Top Model, as you mentioned. And then from there, continued to build my brand as a performer. And with that, I decided I wanted to continue on an entrepreneurship avenue, and now I have created the jewelry line Kiss the World, the symbol of love and unity.
Very nice. I mean, you definitely already have way more going on than most people have in their entire life, so I think that's totally awesome.
Thank you. It's crazy. It's super crazy. I don't know what half the time, but that's okay.
No, trust me, I know. I mean, way back in the day, many years ago, I was venturing into the whole modeling world, and it's a full of beast out there, and you just took it to a whole new level, like on TV and all that. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine.
What a wild ride, I'll tell you that.
Now, reflecting on your transformation from the world of dance and television to entrepreneurship, can you share a moment that encapsulated a blend of your artistic vision with your entrepreneurial drive?
So really, it's always been there. When you are a performer, a creative, and you're putting yourself out there with auditioning constantly, you are the product. You are the brand. You can be the most talented ballet dancer, actor, singer, what have you. But without having any business sense, you're not really going to get anywhere. So the migration has always been there. I don't know where the specific moment, that where I crossed over and was like, okay, here's the migration. But I have always known that there's always an entrepreneurship in me, and being a brand and selling myself crossed over into me actually creating an actual product to where I had to push that out, but it's the same as what I've been doing before. So it all kind of intertwines. And now I use my background with what's going on now, and I've merged them together. So it's all kind of a cohesive situation.
That's awesome. It's funny because they always say, everything happens for a reason. Maybe you were meant to go down this path because it brought you to where you are today. So that's actually really cool.
Gosh, you know what? I'm actually even about to do a TikTok or a social media little video about how small the world is and how everything is really connected. Even when you feel like you're falling off the path and you don't know where you're going and how did I get here? It really is all connected. And I've been connecting all the dots since I was probably about, to be honest, since I was like 7 years old. It's all led me up to today. It's bizarre.
But it is true. Like they say sometimes, like even the bad stuff that happens, it's like pushing you into a different direction because that's where you needed to be. So I believe all of that stuff. And it's at the time you can't figure it out, but we have to say that it's happened for a reason. And I think that whole experience of, like you say, branding yourself and branding a product, but also being on the other side, what the audience is looking for, what their whole theme is. So, that kind of helped pave the way. That's pretty cool.
And also I'd like to add, because I've been the product the majority of my life, it's all about the outside, unfortunately. It's all about what you're giving. And I mean, nowadays it's a little bit different. You can be, all shapes and sizes. Back in my day, it was really, especially in the modeling world, it was all about what you look like. So packaging is a huge deal. So when I created this line, I was just so adamant about packaging. Has to look amazing. People have to want to have an experience when they purchase something, right? So that too, right there, connected.
But that is so true, because I know somebody else who has a business, and it is about packaging. Because I mean, you can get the same product, but you have one that's really packaged nice and beautiful, and then you have one that's kind of just thrown in a shelf and other stuff. You're going to look at the better packaged one. It's the world we live in, but that is true. Good. Now, having been in the spotlight from a young age, performing for legends and participating in America's Next Top Model, how do you balance the visibility and privacy aspects in running a public-facing brand like Kiss the World?
I don't. I really don't. Basically, I can only control what I can control. So, if people are going to go out there and do a bunch of research on me personally and dig deep and, get into my personal life, and they want to do that, fine. There's nothing I can do about it. Google is there, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So I just deal with whatever comes. But with my social media, which is basically what we all kind of control these days, I don't really put anything out there that's really personal. I like to keep it very lighthearted. I like to just promote positivity and love and kindness. If there is something that I feel other people can feel like they can connect to my story. If I'm going through something a little bit, kind of private, I'll share that. But for the most part, I keep it very on the hush hush. And with my brand page, it's just all about the products itself and just what it really means. So, I mean, because I put myself out there in this particular way, I don't really get a whole lot of people trying to delve into my personal life, and people aren't really nasty to me, or they're not that nasty to me yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is true though, because people, especially competitors or jealous people or whatever the case may be, they're always looking to attack somebody instead of just saying, well, this is actually really cool. And I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you did this. It's the world we live in. But I think we're starting to get some changes, which is really good. If anything's with all this crazy world we're living in, there's a positive thing. So, yeah.
Crazy world. So that's why I'm like, look, I cannot change the craziness that's happening, but at least I can try and put a little bit of positivity into it. And that's what, the world is all about.
Nice. And I agree with
crazy world. Let's kiss the crazy world, you guys.
But I agree with keeping the business and personal. Like I have, say, even with Facebook, I have a personal page and a business page. And so many people, especially the podcasts and whatnot, they all find me and they're trying to connect with me on Facebook. And I'm like, I mean, it's cool. I have nothing to hide, but it's a separate. You don't even know about my grandkids and this. Just keep the business thing.
Exactly. Not necessary.
Yeah. Now tell us, transitioning into the entrepreneurial realm, it can be daunting for creators. So can you share an instant where you felt out of your depth and how you overcame that challenge?
Patricia, it's every day. First of all, I was the scholastic honors student. I did the, go to school. After school, I went to ballet rehearsals and classes. I was very regimented. I was supposed to lead the life of then go to college, which I did, graduate from college, which I did, then get the job and then work, up until I'm supposed to retire. I did, besides the college thing, I didn't do really any of that. I tried some 9 to 5 here and there, but my life started so young in the performing arts that it kind of took me a different direction. So with that, it was all about, performance, creativity. I was a dancer. That whole life was very much that. Business. I'm like, yay. Oh, I'm going to create this thing. And then as I got into it, I was like, well, wait a minute. I don't know that. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know anything about finances. I don't know anything about, the blueprint, which would be like the business plan. I know nothing. And a lot of the times I was like, well, I don't know. So I shouldn't do it then because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And then I was like, well, I also didn't know how to do a pirouette. I also never booked that job before the first time. I didn't know how to do that first reading or learn those lines, but I learned them and I did. So why can't I do that with this as well? So even though I'm still learning every day, I'm still going for it, right? But I'm constantly like, oh, well, and then now with the tech age, if there's a product or platform or service for this and that for marketing and actually creating the product itself. And I'm just like, wait a minute, just 2 months ago, I just learned this thing. And now you want me, hold on a second. And I'm a geriatric millennial, I believe is what I'm called, born in the year of 1984. That's okay. I don't care. I will tell you exactly now because you can Google it anyway. With being a geriatric millennial, I did grow up with the Dewey Decimal System and going to the library. And I went into the computer world when I was in high school. So I remember very much the old school stuff, the cord on the phone and wrapping it around you and hiding, the door, to what we have now, So I'm constantly learning on the tech side of things. I'm constantly learning on the finance aspect of things. And it's just always a learning curve every day. So yeah, that's what I have to say to that.
Yeah. I mean, it is true. Like I always say, people who just get stuck in the times and just do what they normally do and don't evolve, you're going to get left behind. Because even back in the days, I remember when I was the same way, going to the library, and computers were brand new when I was starting my job. And some people never even branched to know it. Well, give like 10 years into the company closed. And I remember thinking, even receptionists had to have computer knowledge. I'm like, these people are older generation. I'm like, what's going to happen to them? They don't know how to evolve with the times. And, you have to constantly keep learning because like you say, especially with like AI and digital marketing and whatnot, every day it's like speeding. It's like, whoa, I just learned this. Like you have to constantly keep learning and evolving. And, it's good to network with other people and, have a mentor who can kind of help guide you. And, unfortunately, we live in a world where everybody wants something for nothing, or they're not going to help you unless they want something in return. But there are some good people out there that are willing to offer advice and help. Because it's the same when you start any type of business, it's like, whoa, you're getting thrown stuff that you had no clue even existed or what to do with it. And I'm the same. I always say I'm still winging it and I'm learning it as I go along. I mean, 35 years later, every day's a challenge. Every day's something new. So you just go with the flow and do the best you can and hope for the best.
I absolutely do not resist at all. Lean into it. Go with it, because there are things that used to cost me a lot more money that now I've cut that cost because I downloaded a certain platform where I can do a lot of things on my own and market that particular piece, product, or whatever I'm doing without having to, give someone an arm and a leg. So, I mean, there are definitely upsides to it. It can be quite daunting at times for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a challenge, but like you say, just connect with people who know how to do it and willing to help you, but not try to harm you in the process,
Right. Oh gosh. And you know what, it's going to happen, but you know what? You just got to kind of sweep that under the rug and just keep going.
Yeah. That tells Kiss the World's commitment to philanthropy. It's inspiring. So can you highlight a particular initiative or partnership that deeply resonated with you and why?
So this, which is the most special part of this whole thing, this is something I'm still in the process of. There is a particular organization, I can't really mention the name right now, but there's a particular organization in New York that I absolutely love. And as I digress here really quick, I've chosen them, or I love them, because what I've been struggling with is finding philanthropic organizations that really resonate with me. But the thing is that there's a lot that resonate with me. And I'm like, how can I give back or put this into my business model with these several different organizations? It just becomes overwhelming. So there is an organization in New York that I love because not only do I already volunteer with them as it is, but they are very diverse in what they do. They have a lot going on with children, the elderly, people on the streets during the winter, doing coat drives, and that is very much my alley because, as it can see, I'm not saying kiss New York or kiss California. I'm saying kiss the world. So I'm trying to have 85,000 different arms or tentacles back, but I know it's virtually impossible. So this particular organization diversifies, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm leaning into them. We're kind of discussing to see how we can partner up. But until then, what I am doing is for each sort of quarter, if I do a special on like Christmas, I was like, okay, well then I'm just going to focus on any monies that I have brought in from my sales. I'm going to give that to St. Jude. And then for, the first quarter of, 2024, when I'm running a special for, let's say Mother's Day, whatever I earn from that, I do a specific portion. I'm going to give it to battered women organizations. So I'm trying to do my own little diversifying. But I'm hoping to get in with this New York company and or organization, I should say, and see if there's a partnership there.
It's awesome. And it's like really inspiring because there's so many people out there just like, it's all for me. It's all for me. And you're looking to help other people, which nowadays is not a great, it's a rare quality.
Is it? Oh no, that's terrible.
No, I mean, there are some people that do it, but for the most part, it's, like, I go on a tangent every now and then, but it's, everybody's about how much can I get out of it? It's not so much what can I do for everybody else. It's, it's not what we're here for,
Well, this is, I'm not about, oh my gosh, how much money can I make? Now, granted, yes, I mean, I'm a human being trying to live my life. Of course, I want it to be, this, multi-million dollar huge success, of course, but I, just like when I performed, and I'm still performing, I don't know why I said it in past tense, but just like when I perform, it's not about me. Yeah, do I get a high from it? And the applause is great. Yes, it's wonderful. But really, those people out there in the audience, those consumers, those audience members, they are looking for an experience. They are escaping their life for, 2 hours of their evening. They spent money to be there, to be entertained, or to get some sort of feeling and connect with the character or the performance or whatever it is. And that's what it's about. So with this line, this product that I have, my brand, that's what that's also about as well.
It's definitely very inspiring. Excellent. That's awesome. Bustling world of fashion, maintaining a brand's distinct voice and values is crucial. So can you share your experience and strategy in embedding Kiss the World's ethos into every aspect of your business?
Well, I think of it like this. There were two inspirational companies / organizations that I kind of modeled after. One being more into the fashion world, accessory line, but still having kind of that same feel of what I'm doing. And then the other one, which I'll say, which we all know what it is. And it's the pink ribbon. When you see the pink ribbon, what do you think? What do you feel? What do you know? Right? And the other will be the Open Heart Collection by Jane Senior, which I had the privilege of, like I said, all the little dots that connect. Working one of her events a long time ago when I was modeling for it. We were wearing all of her pieces, and it was for a philanthropic event, and she was there, and she's a lovely, lovely woman. And I was just like, wow, she is a staple of the entertainment industry. She built this foundation, or she built this product that's so beautiful, and it goes into the fashion industry. And it's something that you wear that means something. I mean, let's be honest. Everything we put on our bodies doesn't really mean anything. If you get a piece of jewelry from your loved one, a friend, yeah, that moment it's meaningful. Yes, you'll pull it out, the next time you wear it and go, oh yeah, that's great. So-and-so got this for me. That was nice. But when you go out into the world, it doesn't mean anything to anybody else. So I'm trying to bring together kind of a collective, right? We're wearing a symbol. It's not so much of, oh my gosh, look at this necklace. Look at my pendant. It's so beautiful. It's so this. There's a status that I have with it. It's a meaning. I am part of a collective of people or group of people who, when they wear this, it means something so much more than just a fashion accessory. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that I can continue to grow that, bring that to the fashion industry, also bring it to, philanthropic organizations and kind of bridge it together, much like what Jane Seymour has done.
That's awesome. It is true, because people like the pink ribbon. Everybody knows exactly what that's, what that's about. You don't have to even say anything. So that is nice, kind of getting that trickle effect of when you see this, we'll work that, what we're about.
Right. And that pink ribbon for a long time. Now think about it. Look at the big picture, okay? And Jane Seymour has not done this. Love you. But I'm trying to put the open heart collection with the pink ribbon and kind of merge that together. Think about how in October, everything's pink, and that means something, right? More so than even Pink's Victoria's Secret, right? And when football season is on during that time, their uniforms, they're wearing pink socks, they have the pink stripes on their uniform, and these are men. Right. That's amazing, right? And it all means something. So that's the big picture, right? And the billboard, get it up there. It doesn't even have to have the product on there, just the symbol itself. And then they're meaning.
Oh, no. Right. Well, that's awesome. That follows the journey from an idea to a tangible piece of jewelry. It must be filled with creativity and challenges. So can you share a story behind one of your designs that was particularly meaningful to you?
Oh, well, definitely. I wear this one the most often. It's the monogram. Monogram's like a big thing right now. People wear their name or their zodiac sign or their kid's name. I did one with just the company name, of course. And it's also a bestseller, especially when I do my publication. But the lip pendant was the most. That was like a big moment for me. First of all of this all documented, like my journey, right? And it all started from a blot on a napkin. I kissed a napkin in it because the lip pendant is actually my lips. They're not like just random lips. They're mine from when I kissed the paper, and then I had to do several to put on the paper to send it off to get the logo made. But and then all of a sudden I had a vision. I just saw the world in it, and I then freehand sketched it. I don't know. My grandma's off. Get it. So I sketched it out on a piece of paper, the whole thing. And I was like, this is cool in my mind. And I saw the big vision. It went from like that piece of paper to obviously the billboard, right? And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? Forever, I was like, okay, I'm going to get it screen printed. I'll just put it on shirts and things like that. And I did that. And there is going to be an apparel version. I'm in samples right now, but that's neither here nor there right now. And then all of a sudden I had moved to New York and I met a jewelry maker. And I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, are you familiar with maybe how I could get this like me? And she was like, oh, I can help. So I went with her step by step in that creation process. And the very first real tangible sample, which is not what we have today, when I held it in my hands, I basically started crying. I cried because I was like, wow, it went from paper to, in my hand. And that was just a very, very meaningful moment to me because I was like, even though at that point, I was like, I made it. I made it. Created it. It's done. My life is complete. That's very much how I know. Now we had to obviously evolve from that because if you see what that was, it's nothing like what I have now. But that moment was really, really amazing to me.
Yeah. That's an awesome story. But it's true. It's funny that you said you just started with it on a napkin. It's like something as simple as that brought up this great idea. I mean, it's actually really nice.
Thank you. I really.
As Kiss the World continues to grow, how do you envision its impact and reach evolving, especially in the context of global challenges and social issues?
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm really hoping that when people see this symbol, they'll want to be a part of it. And I don't know, I know everybody believes in different things, and I'm very supportive and I don't judge people's religions or spirituality or anything, but I very much believe in a higher consciousness and like awakening into positivity. And I almost feel as if everybody believed in this symbol and what it stands for, if people promoted it by wearing it or purchasing it as a gift for someone else or posting about it, it wouldn't just be about the piece itself, that they would explain what it means to them and how it feels to be a part of impacting on a positive level. And if we can collectively raise all of our vibration, if you will, I know it sounds so like, new age, want to call, but like raise our, just let's all be a little bit more loving and positive. And if we could do that together, I feel the world would be a better place. I mean, at least amongst our family and our friend groups. I mean, can we start there? I don't know. I'm a one woman show at the moment. So my power is very tiny. So I don't know how I will impact the social issues and everything that's going on. And I mean, things are getting really crazy out there, as we mentioned earlier also. But just the tiny bit of being able to just get to the part where we can love one another in our close circle, in our close atmosphere, that will go a long way, really.
It starts somewhere. And, it is the trickle effect. Because I'm the same way. It's kind of like, we'll just get along. Peace, love, and happiness. I'm not a hippie, but can't we just have that? I mean, isn't that hard?
I really don't understand the problem. Like, because at the core, the reason why there's so much turmoil is we all want to be loved. And at some point, I don't know, I'm going like now down a whole thing, but in people's lives, they didn't get it, or they were mistreated, or, things have gotten, are really bad in people's lives. They take that with them and they continue to perpetuate the same thing around them. And it's really sad, because it's like, we're all here for the same thing, whether we know it or not,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but years ago, people didn't talk about it. And now it seems that's all everybody does is they talk about it. But now the problems are getting worse. So it's kind of like, did everybody have all this pent up stuff that it's just all exploding now? And that's what's, I don't know, but I agree 100%. Just things happen. Let's just move on, acknowledge it. And, you're here. Like I always tell people when the negative Nancy, who's always complaining, it's like, it could be a miserable rainy day, but it's going to water the flowers. And there's so much you could find positivity and be happy. But, some people just want to shake them and say, snap out of it. But at least you're starting, which is an awesome process. Now, your background in dance and performance brings a unique creativity lens to your brand. So how do you harness this artistic perspective in building engaging narratives around the Kiss the World?
Well, to me, it's all about the experience. It's all about the experience. During the shutdown, pandemic, COVID times, I don't know, can we say these words on your show? I was stuck in my home, as the rest of the world was. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So let me do some research here. So I was like, okay, I hadn't had any of my packaging done. I know I spoke on this earlier, but this is all part of like the experience, right? I was like, okay, let me do some research. Let me look at who I would want to be as a competitor, where I would want to put myself in that, that tier. And I went a little bit above and I went a little bit below, and I put myself kind of in the middle. And I won't speak of those different companies, but there were a few really prominent ones, a couple really prominent ones that are very, very, very successful, one dating back to a very long time ago. And I was like, okay, so we're not going into the stores. We're not shopping. So that whole experience is gone. We're Amazonians. We're Amazon everything. So, and I go, okay, I'm going to shop online and I'm going to buy myself a few items. And I want to see what that experience is like when I get the package. I was blown away. And I'm talking some big guys out there. I was very just, I like to be, I'm a very honest person and I'm like blunt. I want to be also very, I'm trying to be kind here. But I was, a little disappointed. I thought I was going to have this like, oh, wow, this is so cool. Look at how it came in. I love packaging, and that's that's where I put all my effort into my packaging from my, experience as a performer and all of that. And so I said, okay, this is not the experience I want my customers to have. And so I made it apparent to make sure that it was a production and a presentation and that you would enjoy it. And so from then on, I went ahead, I got my packaging done during COVID. And when I've gotten my orders, a lot of people have said to me, oh my gosh, it's so fun opening your product. Like the packaging is so fun. It like keeps going. There's so much involved in it. And I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted, because it should never just be the thing. It should be the whole experience. And that's what I gave to people. And I do give to people when I'm also performing with my body, with my voice, So
now, I love packaging. I remember I had a conversation, like one person I order from, they always send it same beautiful packaging. They always has a sticker on the box that just says, you made my day. Hope I make you something silly. But it's kind of like, it's touching. And then I get other people who say, why waste money on that? It's the product that you want. And it's kind of like, but it's the whole experience. It's, I can get the product. I could probably go to the store and buy it myself, but it's, it's part of the experience and you're paying for it. So I agree 100%. Then people say, oh, it's a girl thing. I'm like, not necessarily. I know a lot of guys that if it comes packed crappy, it's the value. It's just, it looks like crap. It's kind of like, so I love it. I think it's part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Why can't, so I just take a lot of pride in that.
Good job. Now, for those looking to pivot in their careers towards more passion-driven endeavors, what foundational advice would you give to us about resilience and staying true to one's vision?
I'm so simple, and it's the same thing everybody's probably heard from every other entrepreneur out there, but really just do it. Just literally go out there and do it. Who cares if you don't know anything, please. Speaking from somebody who, I don't know. Yeah, I came from fashion. I modeled, but I was just the model. They made the garment. They made the fashion accessories, and they just put it on me. I didn't know anything about how to make a necklace or sketch or dimensions or materials. And then from that alone, I didn't know anything about packaging. I didn't know anything about finance and business plan. None of that. But you will learn along the way. And just keep putting one foot in front of the other and don't get discouraged. And if you do get discouraged, all right, give yourself like 5 minutes to cry about it or eat the tub of ice. Okay, maybe just don't eat the tub of ice, but half of it, half the pint of Ben and Jerry's, and let yourself feel it for a moment and then go, okay, that didn't work. And that totally sucks. But now I know that didn't work. So let's now figure out a different path to go down to see if that will work. And it may take time. Not everybody is born into millions of dollars. Not everybody is in a good situation to feel free to be creative or go after working for themselves, but many people do it. And if you go for something and that fails, it doesn't mean that you can't try something else. Just be happy. And on those last days here on earth, you can look at yourself and have no regrets. And you can just be like, you know what? I went for it. And that's something I tell myself all the time. I'm like, if I get scared to do something, I go, well, will this fear really matter on my final days breathing? I don't, it's none of it matters. So just go for it.
Yeah.
And try not to live with regrets. I mean,
Oh, like, where are we going with this?
Now, going for something that you care about, something that you have passion about, there's nothing to regret, even if it fails.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, because if so many people, like back in the day, the woman was a housewife, the dad had to go to work, blah, 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 whether he liked it or not, it was your job, and everybody coexisted, and then you died, and that was it. And, you never did anything you wanted to do, and you spend your whole life regretting, like, I wish I would have, like, now, I've known so many people that, like, one was an accountant, went to school, one was a lawyer. I mean, how many years of school, finally get the job and realize I don't even like that. And then they're doing something totally different. So, they were doing what their parents said that that's what they should do, but it's not what they wanted to do. So,
Right.
you have to take a chance, and what's the worst that'll happen? You tried it. It didn't work out. You try again, but at least you can say, I gave it a shot,
Right.
Now, anything else you want to talk about that we didn't cover or anything?
The one thing, I have a little hidden talent, sort of, and that's singing.
Nice.
Terrifies me. And that is something that I'm like, okay, Giselle, you're so afraid. So just go conquer it. Like, just sign up for an audition or try, submit for an audition that requires singing, and just go do it. And who cares if you don't get it? What does it matter? Who cares if you sound horrible or they don't like you? Just do it. So I have to also listen to my own advice, because singing is something I love to do very much, but it's very private for me. But we'll see how that turns out. I overcame these challenges and other challenges, so let's conquer that one too.
Yeah,
I'm taking my own advice.
I see. And it's funny because I'm like the same, where and we always have the expression, go big or go home. I used to be terrified of heights, terrified. And some people would say, okay, we baby steps, go to therapy. I did a skydive. I was like, you know what? Just go big or go home, try it. And well, it turns out I fell in love with it, became an instructor, blah, blah, blah. But I learned that there's a height perception and a depth perception. So I could jump out of a plane with no problem at all, but put me on top of a building and I'm terrified. So it's totally different. But the point was, I didn't let it destroy me. I had this fear, conquer it. What's the worst that can happen? I do it and I hate it, or I do it and I fell in love with it and blah, blah.
Oh, Patricia. I don't know what's the worst that could happen jumping in a plane, but oh my gosh, no, never. I wouldn't be able to do that one. That's amazing.
Well, believe it or not, the funny part was not funny part, but I was in 3 car accidents. I think it's more dangerous for me to get behind the wheel of my car than for me to jump out.
I'm sure. Yeah, totally. Wow. What a fear to overcome. That's incredible. But not only did you overcome it, you then became an instructor. That's like mind blowing.
Well, go big or go home, right? So you have to, you like something, you go for it and take a chance, because we have one life. Might as well make the best of it while we're here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have lots of exciting stuff going on. It's super good. And I saw your website. You have your acting and all of your good stuff on there, your products. So this is all awesome. I'm going to post it. But how can people learn more about you, find out about you, and get in touch with you if they want to?
Oh, I'm constantly being my goofy self on Instagram and TikTok. So you can find me on Instagram at Giselle L Sam, GISELLEL Sam, and you can find Kiss the World at Kiss the World Boutique.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being on the show again. That was Giselle Samson. So thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the channel. So thank you so much again.
Thank you, Patty. You rock.
My pleasure.
I'll be playing with you one day.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Barnowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.